Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. Coming up this week, the Blackstone Group divests itself of SeaWorld. Bob Iger extends his contract with Disney, and Disney is offering resort guests special access to Pandora, World of Avatar. A little later on, Steve Porter will be coming to us from Animal Kingdom, and the team is going to discuss our favorite, there's no N in that word, restaurant dishes at Walt Disney World. All that coming up next. From the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida, this is the Diz Unplugged. This is the Diz Unplugged, episode 934 for the week of March 28th, 2017. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts at helping you plan the perfect Disney vacation. Visit them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show, coming to you live from the Bob Varley Studio in Orlando, Florida. I'm your host, Pete Werner, joined at the table this week by my good friends, John Magi.
Hi, everybody.
Kevin Close.
Hi, everyone.
Kathy Whirling.
Hi, everybody.
Rhino Clavin.
I'm just happy to sit here.
And back in the production nook, our very own producer, Mr. Craig Williams.
Hello, everyone.
So welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you are having a good week so far. A couple things in housekeeping. Just want to remind everybody about our 20th anniversary celebration coming up. The actual 20th is June 1st. But what are the dates of the week of? I keep forgetting to write that down.
So we have rooms available May 26th through June 4th, 2017 at incredible group rates. These are filling up fast. And I heard from Disney and they're saying, listen, we can't get you any more. So please, if you're interested in booking these rooms, book them now.
Do it now, yeah.
The event dates are going to be May 28th through June 3rd, 2017. That's actually Monday through Saturday. And Saturday's in there because Kevin and I are going to do an event on Saturday. But our big event, our big party is the night of June 1st, and that's going to be at Epcot. That's going to be our big, huge party with rides and things and stuff. You're not going to believe it. It's going to be huge. We're going to be winning. All you can ride Soarin', Test Track, The Seas with Nemo and Friends, Journey into Imagination with Figment, and our own private Illuminations, Reflections of Earth. We're going to have food. We're going to have music. We may have some special guests I'm working on. So,
John, and as a 20th anniversary gift to me, John is going to do the single ladies dance.
Yeah.
We've been on.
The best part's the leotard.
Really is.
So that is all coming up June 1st. So please come and join us. Also want to remind everybody about the shows we have coming up this week. Every Monday, disunplugged.com and youtube.com/dreamsunlimitedtravel, the Dreams Unlimited Travel podcast with John, Kevin, and Tracy Heinrichs. And what's coming up this week?
All right, so this past Monday, we released 2 shows. Can you believe it? Very exciting. We did our tour of the Welcome Center in Port Canaveral, which I think turned out actually much better than I thought. You know how you're recording something and you go, this is a disaster?
Yes.
This actually turned out really good.
It happens every Tuesday.
Does it? And then we also released our facts and myths about free dining. We wanted to do that early in the year so people are prepared for if and when free dining is announced, what they can expect.
You think they're going to do it this year? I don't think they are.
The discussion we had on the show was there's no availability in the fall of this year. So there's no availability. There's no reason for Disney to run a promotion.
But we also discussed the fact that people might be holding reservations at different resorts with the assumption that free dining will come along, and that means they're going to get it. But what happens is if Disney doesn't think there's a great deal of extra availability, you might be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
You are. No, yeah. Even if they do release it, it'll be so limited.
Right.
And
because they already think you're coming.
And a lot of times, let's be honest, a lot of times it ends up not being a savings doing the free dining promotion because they always do it with a room-only discount. And sometimes the room-only discount really offsets any savings you're getting from the free dining.
So basically, you don't have to watch our show now. 'Cause this is exactly what we talked about.
We took 45 minutes to
We
discuss
did.
this.
No, we did. That was a short show, which is why we did two. And then upcoming this week, we're going to look at the summer 2018 Disney Cruise Line itineraries that were just announced and released. Some cool ports of call, some different itineraries. Shocked at the pricing, but we think the folks will find that interesting.
But didn't stop them from selling.
Yeah, that
Didn't
is
stop them
true.
from selling. So
It didn't stop them from booking. They haven't paid yet.
okay, well,
We're talking about one cruise. It was a 10-night Southern Caribbean cruise, I believe it
11
was.
night, yes.
11 night. And in an inside stateroom for 4 people. It was $13,000.
yeah, it's crazy. But all right, so that's coming up next Monday. Also every Monday, DizUnplugged.com, the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged with host Tom Bell and his team. This week, Mary Jo talks about her recent tour of the Warner Brothers Studios. It's one tour I haven't done yet.
I hear you can sit on the friend's couch during that tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I know somebody
Gotta
who
do
just
it
did it,
someday.
and they said you get to walk on the set of The Big Bang Theory.
Oh,
So cool.
I think
There were
we
no
gotta-
Power Rangers.
We got to
there,
try and
though.
make that happen the next time that we're
Yeah,
that we're out
that'd be
there.
cool.
So that's on the Disneyland edition of the Diz Unplugged. This Wednesday, special mini-sode the boys put together worst things about being a Disney cast member. They did best things about being a Disney cast member, so I guess it...
Oh, it's some surprising stuff. If you really want to know, I would just watch it. I don't want to. If I start talking about it again, I'll go into the rant I went into, mini Pete Warner rant I had about working there. So check it out.
And, of course, every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern, live, DizUnplugged.com, the Universal edition of the Diz Unplugged with Craig and Rhino. What are you doing this week?
Well, actually, we haven't really announced it yet, so I will now. This is actually going to be the last live show that we have for the Universal one, starting
right.
in April. We are going to be a pre-recorded show, just changing the work structure up a little bit. But to celebrate our last live show, we're going to do a live question and answer. So everyone who comes and watches the show live, you'll be able to ask us questions about Universal Orlando right on the spot, and we'll answer them and just really kind of go back and forth with everyone who's been supporting us during the live shows for the past couple years. So we'll miss doing it. Might come back in the future, but for right now, trying something different.
Well, just since we're talking about that, I've, based on feedback from the guys, making some changes to the schedule, the work schedule. We're trying to maximize our studio time, give these guys more time in the parks. That's really what they need. So we're kind of front-loading our recording schedules on Mondays and Tuesdays. This show is not being changed. We'll still be going out live every Tuesday. But Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, the team will be in the parks. So making some changes to that. And, these guys were getting antsy. So time to change things up. It's, we don't have enough Ritalin to keep them calm. So we have to do this. But, all right, so that's coming up this Thursday, the final-ish live show of the Universal Edition. And every Friday, DizUnplugged.com, DizPop.
Yes.
The giant head of Rhino Clavin.
Yes. I'm just going to get a Wizard of Oz background and just do it like the floating head from now on, I think. But it's actually 2 episodes this week. Surprise. So I did, one episode went up this morning, and that's my review of the Power Ranger movie that a lot of people kept asking for. I wasn't originally going to do it, and then I just kept getting a lot of messages about it, so it's there. And then on Friday, because Rogue One is coming out next Tuesday, we thought we'd have a little bit of a Star Wars themed episode. So we talked about
like DVD streaming.
I thought, oh God, I've got to go see another Star Wars.
Can you see his face? Oh my God, another one's coming out.
No, so we're talking about news that has to do with the next one, Episode 8, and the Han Solo movie, and then we do a little blue in the sky, like what we'd like to see in future installments of Star Wars movies, episodes, spin-offs, whatever, all that fun stuff.
Just blue sky, not
I
blue
was just
in the
going to
sky.
say,
What'd I say?
blue in the sky.
I
As
can
opposed
sing
to
whatever
pie in the
song I
sky.
want to sing.
Make your own kind of music.
Mamas and the Papas is playing in my hand.
And speaking of movies, I said this to these guys this morning. Apparently, we saw different Beauty and the Beast films.
We did too.
We did too.
I thought it was
We
magnificent.
did too. We loved it.
I thought it was absolutely magnificent. I absolutely loved it, and I went in because their review was scathing, I think is the only way to describe it. And so I went in like really worried that because that movie was big in the theaters when I first really came to Disney World on my first vacation. And so I just associate that movie with that and all of this that we've done since. So, I was really worried. Oh my God. Now I will say this. I thought Emma Watson was flat. I don't think she was a great Belle.
I didn't care for her as
However,
well. But
the rest of the cast, the way everything was done, the way that movie was brought into live action I thought was absolutely genius. I'm going to go back and see it again. I absolutely loved it.
My only complaint is that Beast Castle is not ADA compliant.
There's no handrails
There
anymore.
are a lot of doors that open up onto like platforms with no handrailing. There's a lot of cliffs in Beast Castle.
Clips, yes.
at one point, I turned to Kevin and said, "Make them stop singing songs that I don't know the words to." That's what I didn't care for. I didn't think it needed the extra music.
The solo they gave Beast at the end, towards the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Evermore song.
Nevermore.
Yeah, I thought that was wonderful, and I'm shocked to find out that it's Dan Stevens.
Yeah.
Actually
Downton Abbey.
singing,
Yeah,
Matthew Crawley. I thought he was magnificent.
I did too.
I thought they all were. Like I said, Emma Watson, and maybe it's that they were so good that she just didn't compare well. I thought she did a fine job, but she didn't have the singing, the chops the rest of them had, and I don't know.
I mean, the wardrobe was Audra McDonald, one of the most decorated Broadway singers of all time.
Mm-hmm. No, it was incredible. It was incredible. I loved it. So, Craig Rhino, you were wrong.
Really.
He has decreed.
Really? Were you guys upset that day? Were you fighting?
No. I liked it more than Craig, but I would only give the movie I'd say like a 7 for me. It just didn't do it for me. Sometimes people just don't emotionally connect to a movie, and I agree with Pete about Emma Watson. I do love her, and she was just kind of for me. And then I talked about my other reasons. It's just like some things that Pete and I had this discussion that not everybody sees because not everybody looks at movies the same way, but is also one of the reasons why I love movies so much is that it can be this thing that can mean something to anybody.
Well,
and everybody.
I think for me, and the comparison I made to these guys, I don't go into a movie the same way I go into a hotel room. When I go into a hotel room, I'm looking at the grout in the bathroom. I'm looking at the carpets. I'm looking at the seams. I'm looking at all, what kind of mattress is on the bed, because I've been doing that for so long, and I'm just kind of.
I look at the eaves.
Where my eye,
all
it's
about
where my
eaves.
eye goes.
I am
when I
all
go
about
into
eaves.
a movie, I'm just not looking at those details. I'm just kind of taking in the entertainment. And,
Entertain me.
Right. Mm-hmm. And if I walk out entertained, it was a good film. If I don't, it wasn't. Okay, I'm probably makes me a crappy movie reviewer, but I
do have to say,
about
there's
what I
that
like.
scene where all of the gold is coming off other things, and for a couple of seconds, I could not figure out what the heck was going on. I thought all of a sudden it had become like a Neil deGrasse Tyson movie or something. It was like the universe was universe was exploding.
We saw it at Regal Cinemas, and Regal Cinemas now has this RPX theater.
Did your seat shake for you?
Yes.
Yeah.
My
All I
teeth
can tell you
shook.
is it was deafening. When those plates started singing, my hair moved. It was really loud.
Yeah, it was very, very loud. So,
See, and I thought, because we did the fork and screen at AMC with a bunch of friends, and I thought the volume was too low.
Now, I wanted to go there, but the day we were going, the only thing available was 3D. And I can't see 3D.
See, we did it we did the 3D.
I couldn't see 3D.
was the 3D good?
I thought it was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. I love the 3D.
Eli
I have a
has
great
that same
relationship
problem.
with the 3D.
You in the 3D?
Yeah, I can't see 3D.
Okay.
However, not every film is good in 3D. Some films are just not.
And there
good
wasn't one single
transition.
cat jumping at you in this one.
The plates were spinning at your head.
It's true.
We liked it.
Loud, loud
all right.
plates.
Anything else in housekeeping now that we've told Rhino and Craig they're wrong?
Just the Patreon as always. We have our at patreon.com/disunplugged. If you want to be a supporter, you can contribute money to help us with the day-to-day runnings, with the extra videos we do. Anything $1 to $100, whatever, as little and as much as you want, as long as you want. You get access to exclusive content that we create there and early releases of some shows and some other behind the scenes material. But since we did last talk about this, I believe we've gotten 2 new top-tier supporters in the $100 category, Carolyn and Amy Stewart. So I just want to give you 2 guys a shout-out and say thank you very much for your
Amy Stewart
support.
sang the song "Knock on Wood" in the '80s.
I don't know
Just
if this
trivia.
is that Amy.
No,
to
it's
ask.
no.
That Amy Stewart couldn't afford the top tier.
Amy Stewart's the isn't Amy Stewart the Christian singer who did
That's Amy Grant.
Amy Grant? Okay.
Amy Stewart sang "Knock on Wood."
What? Are you sure?
Do you got any money in your pocket?
Always.
If I'm willing to bet you,
No, it's okay. You're probably right. Why did I think it was somebody else?
Amy Grant sang "Baby Baby."
Right.
He's got to Google it during news.
Yeah. Any other housekeeping?
Amy with 2
He's
eyes.
Googling right now.
And it was Amy with 2 eyes, but this is an Amy with a Y. But yeah, so thank you for that. If anybody you want to support, you want to check out that content, like I said, you can make donation for like 1 month thing if you want. Check out what's there and then move on with your life, or stay with us for the long haul. Whatever you want to do, it's all appreciated. So thank you.
Yeah. And we also get a lot of comments asking if Patreon is available for people in the UK. Right now,
that's right. I'm sorry.
Do you want to then?
No. You go ahead. You go ahead with the answer.
Yeah, right now it's not. So there's nothing we can do about it. It's not like we're saying we don't want anyone from the UK. It's just
It doesn't have the conversion built into the site yet. Patreon is still a fairly new website.
Yeah, it's relatively new
So
service.
So hopefully that would be cool though. Someday, get some pounds going.
God knows I don't have any problem with that. All right. Well, thank you, Rhino. Anything else for housekeeping before we wrap up and throw it over to Johnny with the news?
All right, we're going to get going. Blackstone sells stake in SeaWorld to Chinese investment group. According to the Orlando Sentinel, the investment firm Blackstone Group has sold a 21% stake in SeaWorld to Zhanghang Group, a Chinese company. SeaWorld categorized Zhanghang Group as a diversified holding company focused on strategic growth opportunities in the leisure, tourism, and culture industries. Are you making fun of my pronunciation?
Oh my gosh, no, that would be wrong.
SeaWorld Entertainment announced that Zhanghang Group will buy in at $23. I just like saying it like that. Will buy in at $23 per share.
It's a little racist.
Why is that racist?
Go ahead, I'm saying.
Oh my God. Thursday, the company closed at $17.31 a share, and before the opening bell on Friday increased to $19.69 per share. The deal puts 2 Zhanghang executives in SeaWorld's board of directors. The deal also restricts the Zhanghang Group from selling its interest in SeaWorld for 2 years. Additionally, the group cannot acquire more than 24.9% of SeaWorld's outstanding shares without the approval of the independent directors of SeaWorld's board. Okay, now this is my favorite part of the story. Are you ready? The Zhanghang Group also has invested in Monkey Kingdom. I know, Kevin's all excited. Love that. A theme park being constructed outside of Beijing.
Oh.
Monkey Kingdom will be a 100-acre park that will cost $1.5 billion and will be themed around Journey to the West, which is a 16th century Chinese novel. The deal means that Blackstone Group will no longer be a shareholder in SeaWorld, and it will lose its seats on the board of directors.
Well, there's a lot of interesting other facts around this story that I'm not going to go into because I just don't want the political discussion. But I will say this. First of all, Blackstone did extremely well on this deal. Based on their investment, their initial investment, they earned almost 3 times their money back.
Wow.
Doing this.
And that doesn't include what they siphoned off the company during the years.
Well, I don't know, but just saying that
they
they've
made a lot
earned,
of money off the
they've
company.
earned back 3 times, roughly 3 times, 2.7 to be exact, their investment. This is not the only property, the only holding that Blackstone has that they have sold to China. They have been very active this year in selling off holdings into China, including its stake in Hilton Hotels was sold off to China. For SeaWorld, I'm not seeing this anywhere else, so maybe I'm wrong. I think this is terrible, 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 terrible news. I think this is just another death knell for this theme park. It tells me that Blackstone, which has a very good investment history, by the way, a very, very good investment history, it tells me they have no faith in this turnaround. They have no faith in Joel Manby, the new CEO of SeaWorld Group. They have no faith in him, and they have no faith in this turning around. So they have gotten while the getting's good. And I don't think that this Chinese group is going to. I don't know what they're going to add. I shouldn't prejudge, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of patience for some of the stumbles that SeaWorld has made in terms of turning their business around. And it's the kind of investment that they're going to need to make the changes they are talking about making. I don't know. I mean, look, I want SeaWorld to do well. I want SeaWorld to come through this. I think it's a great park. I think it has. I think it does a lot of good. I know people don't. Not everybody agrees with me on that, and that's fine. I respect the opinion of people who feel differently about parks like this. I just don't share your opinion. But I haven't seen anything positive yet. It started with Blackfish, and everything that has happened, every news story that has come out, whether it has been a quarterly earnings report, whether it has been SeaWorld's response to the Blackfish backlash, try saying that 10 times fast, has been problematic, has not gone well, and their CEO keeps putting his foot in his mouth. So the minute I saw this, I said, okay, that's it. That's it. This company has no faith. This company has no faith in this turnaround. They have no faith in this CEO. And I think the next time we hear a story like this, it's going to be SeaWorld being sold off for its parts in a fire sale.
Well, given the fact...
Which I hope is not the case. I hope I am wrong. I have never hoped that I was wrong as much as I am with this. But I don't know how much more sustainable this is. This is a publicly traded company. They have an obligation to their investors. At some point, the investors are going to call for drastic change, which at this point, the only thing left to do is break it up and sell it.
The only thing that gives me pause for what you're saying is that they're contracted to not be able to sell their shares for 2 years.
That's normal, though. That's normal in any kind of acquisition like this.
However, what that tells me, though, is that this group feels that in 2+ years, they can make money on this investment. Because no one's going to invest that money and then say, I'm willing to say in 2 years it's going to go away and it's going to die. The other thing, too, is China is investing a great deal of money in parks overseas. We did that whole story about that guy who's building all those weird parks in China.
Yeah.
I think China's up and coming with theme parks. So hopefully it won't be what you say.
Well,
that's the only thing that gives me pause.
I'll be frank. I am not a fan of China buying up stuff in the United States. I think it is. I think it's a disaster waiting to happen. I think that we have put ourselves on the hook to China so bad right now, they could destroy our economy in one day. They could undervalue our economy like that. So I'm not a fan of Chinese acquisitions in the United States. That's not a racial thing. That's just a political and business thing for me. That I see it as not good. But it is what it is. And time will tell. Like I said, where SeaWorld is concerned, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this company adds something. I hope they bring some new ideas to the table that help SeaWorld turn this around.
When somebody buys like a company out like this, when they go to do this, do they sort of already have plans for what they'd like to see happen? Or do we have to now sit back and wait 6 months to see what their plans are?
Well, they get 2 votes on the board of directors. So they get to vote on what direction the company takes, but they have 2 seats. That's what this buys them. And the agreement does cap them at 24.9%, which means they can't buy up more than 25% more of the outstanding stock. So their influence is limited, but still considerable. Blackstone had considerable influence over over SeaWorld and its direction.
I think the answer to your question is yes. I mean, if anybody invests this much in a company, they have a vision of what they think could happen with the company.
Okay.
You know, you just don't blindly go in and spend this much money and get 2 seats on the board saying, oh, I'm willing to let this go however it goes. I think they can do something to make the company more profitable.
So are they going to be like the irritant to make things happen?
I hope they are a catalyst for change. I hope they're a catalyst for turning it around and making it profitable again. I really do. But I think it just remains to be seen at this point. I don't have my gut instinct when I read it was this is bad news. This is very, very, very bad news. Because like I said, Blackstone's had a good eye for this stuff. And if they're getting while the getting's good, they're getting while they can make money, because I think they're afraid that a couple of years down the road they're not going to be able to. So,
all right, moving on to our next news story. Disney CEO Bob Iger extends contract to July 2nd, 2019. Earlier this year, we told you that there was increasing speculation that Bob Iger might extend his tenure as Disney's CEO if a successor was not appointed prior to the end of his contract. This week, that speculation was confirmed by CNBC, who reported that Bob Iger has extended his contract by 1 year until July 2nd, 2019. Given Bob Iger's outstanding leadership, his record of success in a changing media landscape, and his clear strategic vision for Disney's future, it's obvious that the company and its shareholders will be best served by his continued leadership as the board conducts the robust process of identifying a successor and ensuring a smooth transition, said Orrin C. Smith, who is the lead independent director of Disney's board. Mr. Iger has led the Walt Disney Company to unprecedented success during his 11 years as CEO. He goes on to talk about his success, which is quite impressive. What I did want to point out in this story is that in addition to his regular salary, Iger is scheduled to receive a $5 million bonus in 2019 for sticking around for another year, according to a Securities and Exchange Commission filing. When he shifts to consultant mode, he'll earn $500,000 a quarter for the first 2 years and $250,000 per quarter for his third year, per the filing. So don't cry for me, Bob Iger.
I'm willing to stick around for another year.
well, I think this, we knew this was going to happen. They don't have a successor in place, and he was supposed to leave next summer, and there was no way. There was no way that it doesn't look like they're bringing anybody up from the inside, and
there's no names. There's no names anywhere.
Well, there's been a couple of things floated, but nothing. I think it's been the PR people for these people putting out rumors that so and so is being considered. Right now, there really isn't any names. There aren't any names floating up to the top as potential as serious successors to Iger, and he's a hard act to follow. My only complaint with Bob Iger has been that he doesn't really seem like a big theme park fan, the way Eisner was. Eisner loved the theme parks. Eisner was really excited about the theme parks. And for Iger, I think they're just, part of the portfolio. And that's kind of how he's approached it. But you just can't argue. You cannot argue with the success the man has had. Genius acquisitions that have just completely redefined the company.
Well, we talked about, they just had this meeting to bring up Star Wars again, but he's the man that's responsible for absorbing Lucasfilm. So, he's saying they're having a meeting and they're going to plot out movies from now until 2030s. And it's one of those where you get nervous because you're like, well, the person who's kind of had his hand in this to make this happen is now going to step out. Is everything going to fall apart? Is it going to keep going as smoothly as it's been? And it is weird that he's leaving just shy of when Star Wars would be completed in the parks too. So it's kind of like maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. He's a weird person to get a read on.
He is, but I think they had to do this for the shareholders. They had to do this in order to not undermine confidence in the company and the stock, because I think if they hadn't done this by this summer, people were going to start getting nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's going to happen? So that's what this announcement was about. This announcement was about making sure that everybody was calm while they look for a successor. Because for shareholders, part of that story you didn't read was that, total shareholder return during his tenure of 448% compared to 144% for the S&P 500 at large. So,
Wow.
And the market cap on the company going at 177 billion, up from 46 billion when he took over. So shareholders want to know, what's going on next, because we've done really well under this guy. And I think that might be part of the problem why they're having trouble, or there's no serious names for a successor out there yet, because that's a very hard act to follow. And when you look at acquisitions like Pixar, Lucasfilm, Marvel, and the impact that has had across the company, it's pretty outstanding.
It's nice of him to take to stay on for so long for so little too,
Yeah.
The sacrifice.
Yeah.
He doesn't have
He's
to
a giver.
He doesn't have to clip coupons now because he gets all that extra money when he becomes an advisor. But do you think that the board, if they know that he's willing to extend, just goes, okay, well, we've got other things to worry about?
No.
You don't think
They're not going to play fast and loose with that.
No, they're not.
They're not going to play, not with that.
Because
There might be some things they would, but I can't imagine the board of directors for a company like Disney, when he's made it clear that he wants to go. He's done.
Yeah.
And he wants to go. And I don't think he's bluffing. I think he
Okay.
means it. So I think, the board of directors had to make some kind of deal with him to keep him on for another year. Because it matters to him too. Even when he leaves, he's still going to walk away with an awful lot of stock in the company.
Yes. Yeah.
So he doesn't want to see the value of the shares go down. And they've got to make the right pick. And I don't know who that is.
Well, do you also think maybe they were a little leery after what went on when they thought they had the heir apparent to all of this, and that sort of fell apart? They were grooming two people for one of them to be. Do you think they just, they don't have those people that they go, oh, hey, let's put John and Pete in there? They can't just.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has come up through the ranks now who's a second to Iger.
You had Tom Staggs, who looked like he was, by all appearances, was the heir apparent, and he pushed the board to make that announcement official, and they wouldn't, and he left.
The only serious name I've heard them float is Lasseter. And the problem with that is that, Lasseter is more creative than business.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Right.
I don't see
maybe
Lasseter.
from a visual is a good person to put in there, but from a business standpoint, I don't think the board would approve him. So,
because remember, you've got so many different areas of this company.
Oh, yeah.
You've got so many different areas, from the films and television, theme parks, merchandise. You need somebody that's able to corral all that. And it's not like he does really well in one area and the other areas suck. He's done really well across the board, generally speaking. I think theme parks are the area where they felt that they didn't have to worry too much, and then realize that, we do, and that's why you're seeing this massive amount of construction going on these last few years, because we got to play catch up
Right.
with stuff we weren't doing for the last 10. So.
did we ever discuss the whole story that came out that Apple might buy Disney? Did we ever go into that? That came up like last week. Apple has so much cash, $300 billion or some crazy number.
Yeah.
That there was a thought that Apple might be considering buying a
I
large
would
company
not
like
be
Disney.
okay with that.
Yeah.
I would not be
lot of
okay
people
with that at all. This is a company that, look, you guys, people who've watched the show for any length of time know I loved Apple, but Apple has stopped innovating. Apple has completely stopped innovating. It stopped innovating the minute life left Steve Jobs' body. And I think there are good things about Tim Cook. I don't think any of them involve innovating these products. Everything's an incremental upgrade. There's nothing new. Apple Watch was pretty much a bust. And that was because Steve Jobs didn't want that. He didn't want it. So this was Tim Cook's thing. I just don't see them innovating. And as a result, I don't know if we can tell.
Pum, pum, pum. If you're
Yay,
listening, it's riveting.
Microsoft.
I'm a Windows guy. I've gone back to Windows. It's a Surface Book. I absolutely love it. The best smartwatch on the market, and I've tried all of them, is the Samsung Gear S3. I'm sorry, and yeah, my phone even is the S7 Edge. I find them more innovative. Look, it's short attention span theater with me. You got to keep me interested, and Apple just bores me. Nothing new. The only thing they've got going for them is the user interface is a lot more elegant. Outside of that, I don't find anything about the product anymore that excites me. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there that were just Mac evangelists who are losing interest and losing faith in the company. So that is not what I want to see come to Disney. That is not what I want to see come to Disney. Personally, I know I'm pissing off a lot of Mac folks out there, but this is just how I feel. And I'll be honest, this is a Microsoft Surface Book that I'm on right now. Best laptop I've ever owned. It is the best laptop I've ever owned. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And
All right, moving on to our third news story. I just thought I'd try to jump in there a little bit. Walt Disney World Resort guests can explore Pandora, the world of Avatar, with FastPass Plus and nightly extra magic hours. Guests staying at select Walt Disney World Resorts hotels May 27th through July 4th, 2017 can explore Pandora, the world of Avatar, beyond regular park hours. Nightly extra magic hours will take place from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. only in Pandora at Disney's Animal Kingdom, meaning not the rest of the park. This offering will provide guests with an additional opportunity to enjoy everything the new land has to offer, including navigating a mystical river, flying on the back of a banshee, and walking under floating mountains. In addition, guests staying at select Walt Disney World Resort hotels can reserve Disney's FastPass Plus selections for attractions, including those in Pandora, up to 60 days prior to check-in, beginning March 24th, 2017. Disney's FastPass Plus service will be available at the 2 attractions within Pandora during regular theme park hours. Guests may select only one of these 2 attractions in their first set of Disney FastPass Plus selections, which are subject to availability. And pretty much what they're saying is, take advantage of these extra magic hours, because even though there's going to be FastPass Plus selections out there, they're going to be hard to get. Considering that there's only going to be 2, they're limiting it to 1 in your first selection. So that's the big news out there for Pandora.
What is that a picture of?
The floating mountains.
Oh.
Somebody posted on the Dreams page that it looked like a child cradling a dog's head.
This is very Rorschach.
Yes.
okay, I'm
I
not
s-
getting that.
I see Mommy and Daddy fighting. What do you guys say? No, not appropriate.
Well, yeah, I didn't include it in the news. I didn't include it in the news this week because it's all folded up. But they last week they announced that annual pass holder previews for Pandora.
Yep.
And that I'm booked.
Us too, and I'm willing to auction off my spot.
I don't like anything.
That's not true.
He doesn't.
That's not true.
He doesn't. If they open a Louis Vuitton store at Disney
I
Springs, he'll
like
be
Apple. So there.
in. So
That's a cogent argument if I've ever heard one.
yeah, really, well debated. I'm not going to say it again. I'm so excited. I'm so excited
I
about
don't like Star Wars, and I don't like
anything.
Pandora.
You don't like
Just say
space,
anything.
huh?
I'm not a science fiction-y kind
is
of guy.
not.
I'm just not.
Just start practicing now. Get off my lawn.
Nope. It's not even that. I like lots of things.
I made him watch Arrival. Oh my God.
Did you watch Arrival?
Yes, I loved
I
it.
loved
It's good.
Arrival.
It's good.
I loved it.
I thought
High school
classic-
took less time.
I thought classic sci-fi. Really
And then
funny.
at the end, I said to John, I don't think I understand what this is about. He says, Well, the alien.
Don't ruin it. Yeah,
don't ruin
it's
it
still
for
new.
people.
Yeah.
If you're watching it, it's up to you.
It's kind of a surprise ending. However, you were playing on your iPhone for most of it, so that might have been the reason why you didn't know what was going on.
It's 11 hours long.
All right, that'll do it for the news.
All right, thank you very much. It doesn't matter. We do it every week. It doesn't matter. It's like it comes up on him by surprise.
Okay, there's 3 news stories. You know what they are ahead of time.
He's so...
I love the Scooby laugh.
Well, he was doing this goofy walk this morning coming in. I'm like, what happened to you? As soon as, as my producer does his job, we'll have Steve. Oh.
There he is, old mac and cheese chicken nuggets.
And I say,
Yeah.
how you doing, Steve? Can you hear me? Steven?
Just looking at us.
Can you
huh?
hear me?
Lieutenant Uhura, come in.
I don't get that.
It's a Star Trek reference here. I'll explain it to you later. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm here at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Yes, we've established that. What's going on?
So behind me is Pandora, and I was here to do a construction update. I was hoping there'd be more to see, but as I looked around, it looked like, as much as I could tell, there was really nothing new from the last time I was here. So it looks like just from the outside, everything is complete. But I did do some research because I didn't want to have no information for you guys. And it turns out that the new quick service location here is going to have a mobile order option. Essentially, you'll be able to use My Disney Experience to order your food before you even enter the restaurant, so you don't have to wait in line when you get your food at a quick service location.
Well, I wonder how that's. I was hearing rumblings about that. I wonder how that's going to work because Starbucks is having a real problem with that. What's happening now is the line to pick up your mobile order is longer than the line to actually just go in and place an order directly.
People are also taking other people's orders. I've heard of that happening, and people get there and they're.
So I wonder how they're going to get around that.
Well, when they did the test at Studios last year or 2 years ago, you did the order and then they brought it to your table was one of the options. So maybe they're going to do that.
Maybe.
Well, and I the more I read about it, it looks like this is something that Disney is going to be testing at I think it's the Santulli Canteen or Santuni, I don't know, I can't pronounce it. But they're testing it at this location, and then if it works out, it's going to be something that they spread to all quick service locations. So hopefully it isn't a disaster, because then that'll be a property-wide problem.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be, I think, a good use of the technology. I'm sorry, go ahead, John.
Where are you in reference to the rest of Pandora? Are you standing at the entrance to the bridge?
Yes, so right behind me is the floating mountain. It's just the construction wall, and behind that construction wall is the bridge. I might be able to sneak around. One second, let me see if I can do something.
Don't get arrested.
Don't you hope he gets tased?
No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not allowed to. This is just the Nomad Lounge.
He's over at Tiffin's.
He's drunk.
Yeah, he's been drinking in the lounge.
That's why they didn't stop him on the way in. They know who he is.
But yeah, that's just the bridge over to Pandora, and then the floating mountains are somewhere up there.
Yeah.
Giant hand of Steve.
I was going to say, the hand doesn't look like it belongs to Steve.
Steve has man hands.
Mystery hand.
How are the crowds there today?
It is extremely crowded. I've actually had a hard time. I was just going to try to hop on a couple rides, but really everything is 45 minutes or above, and that's including, like, Tough to Be a Bug is even that long. So it is extremely crowded
Spring
here
break.
today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spring break. So, all right. Well, thank you for the update, Steve. Enjoy the rest of your day in Animal Kingdom. Go have yourself an adult beverage. Well, you're not old enough, but if you were old enough, I'd let you have an adult beverage. Because apparently, you're not old enough to shave.
I shave down here.
I wasn't looking.
Now, for the audio
Right.
only audience, he was pointing to his neck.
I was gonna say, I wasn't looking. Where was he shaving?
He was pointing to his neck.
Everything from the neck down.
Yes, sorry for audio listeners on that one.
We have to remember our listeners, the people who are not watching. But all
Yeah.
right, Steve, thank you very
Thanks,
much,
guys.
and thanks for that visual.
So, yeah, sorry about
Thanks.
that.
Put your clothes back on.
All right, take care, Steve.
See you guys.
All right, let's. Yeah, that's one for the books. Let's go ahead and move on to rapid fire. Johnny, we'll start with you.
All right, just announced, fresh off the presses yesterday, we have Disney's summer room offer promotion. Dun, dun, dun. Which is actually not very exciting at all.
No.
It's just an expansion of it's going to end at the end of March. There's a 25% off room only bookings, and that they seem to be extending that same offer for travel May 28th through August 31st, 2017. Book between now and July 14th, 2017. 25% off select Walt Disney World Resort hotel stays. Pretty much trying to tie this to Avatar, to Pandora World of Avatar. So making sure people try to stay during that time and come down. But
Well, and the
it's
20th
not-
anywversary event, obviously, too, right?
Right, it's all for the 20th anniversary. No, we have better prices than this, actually. But 25% off is 25% off. See if you can save some money. I'm also surprised there's no package promotion released at the same time.
There was.
Was there? What did I miss?
It's basically the same
25%
thing.
off
Yeah.
the room portion of a package. Yeah. So summer room offer, not fantastic, but always good to have a discount.
Okay. Thank you, John. Kevin.
If you're in town this weekend on Saturday, there's going to be a tribute to Marvin Hamlisch at the Dr. Phillips Performing
I
Arts
really
Center.
wish we were here for it.
I do too. And Jodi Benson is performing.
Oh, wow.
So tickets for the upper balcony start at $17, and from what I could find, the highest price tickets were $78. There's a matinee and an evening performance. If I wasn't going to be out of town, I would
I'd
be
so
at this
be there.
performance. Yeah. So if you're in town and you're interested, we will have it in the show notes page. Yes, we will have it in the show
As he
notes
looks
page. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. Kathy.
Okay, I have a rehab. It's for Portobello, and it's closed April 28th, and it's going to be closed until fall, actually. And they're going to reimagine the restaurant, and it's going to feature an authentic Italian concept, including a family-style menu along with craft Italian beers and wines.
And Tony Mantuano is going to be doing that. He's the guy who taught my cooking class that I raved about, and then
just
we
gonna say.
called immediately afterwards, and they were like, "No, the restaurant's closing."
We wish we would have known this before we
Yeah.
did that really great segment, because that sounded so cool. But
Yeah.
they're
Now it's so hopefully when they reopen in the fall, I'm assuming they'll keep that, because he was very. It seemed like he was enjoying it, and he was the one who kept saying like, "Oh, make sure everyone's getting a drink and everyone's having enough food and all this stuff." So if he's reimagining the restaurant, I can't imagine that they're not going to have that.
Maybe it was sort of like a preview of what's
Oh
coming.
yeah, it could have been. That could have been his hand. But I don't know where I was going with that. But
However, it doesn't. I mean, the description doesn't sound it's much different than what it already is. So it's probably just a physical rehab.
Yeah.
As opposed to the emotional one.
All right. Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
The rhinocologist.
oh gosh, well,
I think we should call him Plumette from now on.
Plumette.
Oh, that was the name. I couldn't remember the name. I just called her like the Swiffer. The music of Pixar Live is going to debut this summer at Hollywood Studios. It sounds really cool. It's it's the music of Pixar Live, a symphony of characters, and it's a concert event series that's going to showcase memorable music from Pixar Animation Studios films, complete with a live orchestra and appearances by beloved Disney Pixar characters. It starts May 26th. It's going to go on 3 times nightly at Theater of the Stars, following the regularly scheduled Beauty and the Beast shows during the day. And it's going to feature some highlights of scores like Toy Story. It says from Toy Story to Cars 3. So guests can also expect appearances by Woody, Jesse, Mike, and Sully, the Incredibles, and more.
I think that sounds fun.
Yeah, I think it's
I
a
think
nice
it does.
Live
nighttime
orchestra?
Yeah, I think that sounds.
I think it's cool that they're doing an offering that's not Star Wars related.
Yeah.
In that park, finally, you know what I mean. That it's nice that this is kind of the first thing I've seen in a little while that doesn't tie into Star Wars somehow.
I'm surprised it's not like a projection thing. Having a live orchestra there for 3 shows has got to be pricey for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Quick, name the hit song from The Incredibles.
I don't know any.
Like this guy.
There is not one, but
Well,
Michael Giacchino, why can I never say his name right? But he did the score for that, and he's brilliant. You know, that's one of the greatest things about
right.
Pixar movies is every single one of them, even the lesser of the goods, they all have great scores
Is that like
attached
a
to them.
blue in
The
the
lesser
sky
of
thing?
the goods.
It's like a blue in the sky thing.
I think the lesser goods is where Steve Porter shaved. No, not appropriate.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rhino.
You really do go to a movie differently than I do.
You really do. Flutie Flulu Flu is excellent at scoring things.
All right.
Even the lesser of the goods is excellent.
Craig, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna take Julie's since her and Corey weren't able to be here today. Last second emergency, but yeah, this Halloween, Disney's Fort Wilderness will be hosting a Legend of Sleepy Hollow event. It'll take place on September 29th and 30th, Thursdays through Sundays in October then, and the last Monday and Tuesday of October as well too. There's a lot of dates. This is a terribly written article. Sorry, Steve.
Wow.
He was shaving.
Nope. Sorry, Steve. Yeah, so the event will include a showing of the classic animated Disney film, Legend of Sleepy Hollow. And then guests will have the chance to have a meet and greet with the Headless Horseman there. You'll receive a limited edition Headless Horseman pin, and if you are a premium ticket guest, you will receive an additional goodie bag. So reservations for this will start April 1st. I guess that's when we'll figure out the pricing on that, and that's for 6 months in ahead. So actually, no, I guess the 29th of March will be the first time you can book it, and 407 WDW Play for that, or however you book these things. I think it sounds really cool, though. I do this
Remember when I
event.
said the Pixar thing sounded cool? This one does not.
All right. Thank you, Craig. Finally, this week, I thought we'd do something a little different. And I asked the team to come up with their favorite dish at a Walt Disney World restaurant. I will start, just because if anybody takes mine, I want to claim that I did it first. When I stop and think to myself, and I challenge everybody watching, do the same thing, and add your comments, because I'd like to hear what you think. But when I think like, okay, if there was only one thing I was allowed to have again at Disney World to eat, what would it be? And it is the filet with mac and cheese at Gico. This was an original menu item when Gico first opened. It's this 4-cheese homemade mac and cheese that they do. They do a filet on top with red wine reduction sauce. It's absolutely out of this world. It is my favorite dish at Walt Disney World.
And you can still get it with the mac and cheese.
You
just
can.
have to ask.
It's not on the menu. If you ask for it, they will make it for you. And if there was one thing I was allowed to have forever, or only one more time, it would be that. So that's what I'm looking for. What dish is your favorite?
Interesting. We were discussing this in the car on the way over, and what's happened is Disney Springs has changed this for us. We used to go to the resorts, and we used to go into the park, but now it's so easy to get to Disney Springs. I think my favorite stuff is at Disney Springs, and I can't pick just one. I like the ribs at Morimoto. I think the ribs are killer. Have you had the ribs?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
That you'd know if you did.
Yeah, you would know if you did. You would love the ribs. They're sticky and gooey and delicious.
Well, the only time I've been to Morimoto is when we had that lunch with Disney, and I didn't care for it. I wasn't sure if it was so much the meeting or the food.
It was probably a little bit of both.
but-
It was a little bit of both. And then also, we like homecoming very much. And there's items on the
Excuse me,
homecoming.
homecoming.
Homecoming
I'm not saying that.
at Disney
I'm just not.
Springs. Yeah, I like homecoming. And there's several dishes there that I like. I like the chicken very much. I've come to terms with the price. I've decided that it's ridiculously expensive, but I still like it, so I'm going to pay the money. And then if you're not picking a Disney-owned and operated restaurant, I still think Bull and Bear has the best steak on property. But that wasn't part of the challenge, so
Okay.
there. I cheated. I had 3.
Yeah. Who'd have thunk it?
Right, really. I can't pick just one.
I'm not going far afield from either one of you. My favorite dish is the maize crusted fish at Chico with vegetables of the moment and tomato butter sauce. It is, every time I go to Chico, I say I'm going to try something different. Mm-hmm. And
do
every
the same
time
thing.
I order the exact same thing. If I could only have one dish from Disney, that would be it. And I'm going to add on to John's. My favorite dessert on Disney property is the hummingbird cake at Homecoming.
I think that's how the commercials be. Homecoming.
It's like,
Like you're hacking something up.
I'm just going to call it Art Smith's from now on. I still have ticket trouble with it not being the people mover, though, so that could say something about me. It's the hummingbird cake and the maize crusted. It's been every fish in the sea and the river since Chico opened. I think the last time I was there, it was maize crusted halibut. It might be different.
It's usually their sustainable fish.
Right?
so they
For a
try to-
while, it was monkfish, but then they realized that you had to drag the net along the bottom of the ocean and you picked up everything that was down there, so they stopped serving monkfish. I'll stop now. That was part of the SeaWorld conversation.
How about you, Craig?
I think the one thing for me, it's very basic and simple and kind of on the boring side, but I love the Cobb salad at the Brown Derby.
Derby?
Yeah,
That's a good
something
meal.
about it. Every single time I get it as an appetizer, I wish that then I had it for my entree as well too.
See, this is too hard because now I want to go back and say Brown Derby things.
They had a pork dish at the Brown Derby, a pork chop with potatoes and sauerkraut. That was killer. I haven't been there in a while either.
Yeah, it's been a while for me, but that's like one of those things. Every time I walk past Brown Derby, it just hits me right away. Like I could really go for a Cobb salad
And it's
from
kind
there
of
right now.
perfect in and of itself.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Okay.
Jeez.
That's all I got.
Now I
All
want
right.
to change my order.
Kathy?
I'm glad nobody took mine, but the fried chicken at Trail's End. I'm very simple eater. I mean, I like lots of stuff. I liked everything that everybody's mentioned, but if I was going to go for one thing, it would be the fried chicken.
I was just talking to somebody about Trails End yesterday, and how I think it's the best value on property.
And there's asbestos in the ceiling.
Just for the price and the food, the quality of the food, the flavor, the selection, whether it's breakfast or dinner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I think it's just
I can't go there.
Why?
That's where we were when we found out Bob died. We were in that restaurant.
There's also a convenience factor involved too.
You didn't
yeah,
have
it's
to take
not.
planes, trains,
Well,
and
you know
automobiles.
but unless you're in Magic Kingdom for the day and you want to like shoot over for lunch or dinner, it's an easy boat ride from the Magic Kingdom. So I tend to do that. I'll go into the I'll kind of schedule it when I'm in the Magic Kingdom and
It's
shoot
just an
over.
association
Actually, now
with
that
me.
I'm talking about it, now I have to go do that.
That's okay. We're going to Brown Derby.
The food discussion, it never fails, and we always do
And
it
it always comes-
at the end of the show
Right.
when we're hungry.
None of us have really had lunch yet.
I did right before we sat down. Because Rhino ran to Wawa,
Yeah. Yes, I did.
made my sub.
This is difficult. I don't think I have like a dish specifically that I've been trying to think about it that has stayed with me the same way. Like I know people hate when I keep talking about this, the way like the stuff at Disneyland stayed with me, but I do have two experiences that I really enjoy all the food all the way around, and they're just the ones that if somebody said you have only one
The
place to go.
qualifiers going into
Just
this
pick
I'm like
answer.
John. It's too stressful.
This
It's
is very stressful.
Just spit it out. We'll judge you
Ohana,
afterwards.
Ohana for dinner was one that always it just reminds me of like good times when the food was at its best.
The TV show?
It has slides up and down. Yes, Rewind is my favorite, but it just like the dessert there, the bread pudding is just so good. And my aunt took the recipe home and she makes it when I come home for Christmas, and like that's one that
Yeah,
always
but that
sticks with me.
qualifies. I mean, that
It's good.
Now, I, on the other hand, think they could bulldoze Ohana, and it would be okay.
no, it's
No, the meats with the sauces.
Ohana's amazing.
Like we went there like as a group for the 4th of July, but then my mom with my stepdad. I remember going the first time with her. I've had a lot of experiences there. They're very meaningful, and I've to the point where I've eaten too much too. But like, and then Hoop-de-Doo Review. I feel the
Yeah.
same way. It's like it's just simple food, but it's always.
Well, that's the same fried
good,
chicken that's served in Trail's End.
And that's what I was thinking.
And that
is
cornbread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the easiest cornbread on the planet to make. It's so easy. It's such a quick recipe, and it's delicious.
Yeah. It's
Which now I have to make.
Well, I don't even like that I don't even like cornbread, but that cornbread, you'll be like, oh, I just ate 2 loaves.
I'll
Of that.
have
Great,
to
I
make
feel
that.
great about
You ever
myself.
had the cornbread at House of Blues?
Yeah.
Jalapenos in it, in the
God,
frying
that
pan,
Yeah.
and the maple butter.
Oh,
I should.
my.
There's a reason I'm chunky.
So, but can you pick a dish if that was all you were allowed to have?
the one thing, and that's it. That's all you can have. I guess I would say the bread pudding, because I feel like I love bread pudding, and now it's got like meaning in it too. So yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I'm not good at this. Like
I've never seen Diz Pop. Is this what he does?
By
it's
himself.
just me a lot of times.
By himself. He argues with himself.
I'm gonna start changing clothes and just setting up 2 shots and go over and talk as
Like
myself.
between 2 rhinos.
I'm good. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna pick a dessert. I'm going with the bread pudding at Ohana.
Okay. All right. So that's everybody's selections. We'd like to know what yours are. Leave those in the comments and tell us what, if you could only have one dish at a Disney restaurant, what would it be? And that is going to do it for our show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back with you again next Tuesday with another edition of the Diz Unplugged. Thanks for being with us, everyone, and remember, stay out of the damn lakes. Have a great week.